work it. I'ma lay back, don't stop it. Cause I love it how you drop it, drop it, drop it on me. Now, shawty let that whistle blow. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, baby, make that whistle blow. Oh, oh. Can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it in the style real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program will begin in 10 minutes.
True frustration, clean bandit, China ball, and Marie thing make them air.
She works the nights by the water. She's gone astray, so far away from her father's daughter. She just wants a life for a baby. All on her own, no one will come. She's got to save him.
Daily struggle.
She tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Stay up there.
She
Stay
tells
up
him
there.
your life ain't gonna be nothing like my life. You're gonna grow and have a good life.
could come, you well prepare. And no, mama, you never shed tear, cause you have to set things year after year. And you give the youth love beyond compare. You find the school fee and the bus fare. Already pops disappear. In a wrong bar, can't find him nowhere. Steadily your workflow, everything you know, so you're not stop, no time for your dear.
Now she got a 6-year-old, trying to keep him warm, trying to keep out the cold. When he looks in her eyes, he don't know he is safe when she says, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you. So rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-bye. I'm gonna rock you, rock-a-bye, baby, don't you cry. Somebody's got you, rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-bye. I'm gonna rock you, rock-a-bye, baby, don't you cry.
With a bang, 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 alright then. Rock-a-bye, rock-a-rock-a, rock-a-bye. Rock-a-bye, rock-a-rock-a, rock-a-bye. Rock-a-bye, don't bother cry. Lift up your head, lift it up to the sky, yo. Rock-a-bye, don't bother cry. Angels around you, just dry your eye.
Now she got a 6-year-old, trying to keep him warm, trying to keep out the cold. When he looks in her eyes, he don't know he is safe when she says, she tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Stay up there,
She
stay up
tells him
there.
your life ain't gonna be nothing like my life.
Jay.
You're gonna grow and have a good life. I'm gonna do what I got to do. So rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-bye.
Rock-a-bye, rock-a-rock-a, rock-a-bye.
You rock-a-bye, baby, don't you cry.
Rock-a-bye, rock-a-rock-a, rock-a-bye.
You rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-bye.
Rock-a-bye, rock-a-rock-a, rock-a-bye.
You rock-a-bye, baby, don't you cry.
With a bang, 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 alright then. Rock-a-bye, don't bother cry. Lift up your head, lift it up to the sky, yo. Rock-a-bye, don't bother cry. Angels around you, just dry your eye, car. Rock-a-bye, don't bother cry. Lift up your head, lift it up to the sky, yo. Rock-a-bye, don't bother cry. Angels around you, just dry your eye.
Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out.
Please take your seats and silence all electronic devices. Our program is about to begin.
Oh, they don't know gowns. Oh, they don't know gowns. I bet they know as soon as we walk in. I'm wearing Cuban links, designer mix, Inglewood's finest shoes. Don't look too hard, might hurt yourself. Known to give the color red the blues. Shit. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jacking. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out. Second verse for the hustlers, gangsters, bad bitches and your ugly ass friends. I cannot preach, I cannot preach. I gotta show 'em how a pimp get it in. First, take your sip, do your dip, spend your money like money ain't shit. Ooh, ooh, we too fresh. Got to blame it on Jesus. Hashtag blessed. They ain't ready for me. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jacking. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? What you trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out. tomorrow.
Weekend on the night, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. I know it'll be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Weekend on the night, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing.
Let's get down to business and show me what you got. Just keep the record spinning. The music never stops. You wanna live forever and reach above the stars. Let's take it to the next level. Just like the spaceship up. Them bright big lights are shining on us. That beat is so tight, it makes you wanna get up, get down, like there's no tomorrow. Like there's no tomorrow. Like there's no tomorrow.
Weekend on the night, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. I know it'll be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Weekend on the night, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing.
Yeah, on the rooftop, surrounded by the stars and the views high. Ain't nobody thinking about what you got. Everything's ours. Wanna dip, get a new spot. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry, don't worry. Night never ends. No hurry, no hurry. Shorty look thick, so the lines get blurry. And the nights in your palms, so we might get dirty. DJ, let the beat play, make a heat wave when you replay this.
Please take your seats and silence all electronic devices. Our program is about to begin.
Low is the bass and the high is the feeling. World is a club bowling, 'cause we can this one for the books. Don't worry about a thing.
Weekend on the night, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. I know it'll be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing.
Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Come on.
Weekend on the night, don't you worry about a thing. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
He drinks a whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink, he drinks a lager drink, he drinks a cider drink. He sings the songs that remind him of the good times, he sings the songs that remind him of the best times.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Wow, look at this auditorium. Wow. NEXA, show up. Show up. I almost cursed already. Mike, I almost cursed. I was going to say a bad word. Wow. Look at this. NEXA, welcome to Dallas, Texas. And NEXA, happy birthday. I believe number 8 is now officially in the books. I don't know what the first official day was, but it's shocking. I was walking around a little bit last night and seeing some of the people that show up. I saw Jonathan Haddad walking around. Wait till you hear him talk later in this program. Alan Beydoun, who I'd met before, I got to talk to again last night. Giselle Ugarte's here. Renee Rodriguez is here. We're going to have a lot of speakers that are here to help us and to try and get a little bit better, just a little bit. And that might not be in the mortgage business. That might be at home. That might be, fixing the window in the backyard you're going to get in trouble for if you didn't get it done. So we're really happy to have all these folks here. 8 years ago, Mike and a few others three of which are also still in this room, Rana, Mike, and Dan Fouts. And then Mike Neal, you get a star because you were like 6 months later. You got some OGs here. 8 years ago, decided to build a company because where they had been, they just weren't thrilled. It had to be LO first. And I get to tell some stories later on about that. But for now, what they did was they went about trying to build an LO first company. And a lot of you have probably been through a lot of those trials and tribulations and changes and all that. But at the end of the day, you're all sitting here, right? And we're dang happy to be here. So 4 months ago, I decided to come over. My name's John Flores, and I'm the National Sales Director. And I decided I was going to kick every tire. I am going to make you show me why your company's better. And it took me about 15 minutes to decide my 22 years in retail was coming to an official end because we all had the same crap. And I'll tell you that there was one thing. Everybody's got great rates, right? Well, maybe. I think ours are the best, but everybody's got the best programs. Everybody's got the best comp. Everybody's got the coolest cars and the nicest hats, like the lids, by the way, over there. Good-looking lids. You know what was different? The people who run this company. The people who run, I can tell you in 4 months, I've sat in a lot of meetings, and every single meeting, the foundation is how do I do better? How do we do better? How does this company do better for the individual LO who is busting on the street and making this company successful? That's what caused me to move. That's why I get to be up here in front of you. And that's why I'm proud to wear the shirt that I designed. Woo! So at the end of the day, we want to thank you. We want to welcome you. I think we have 2 really exciting days of information and ways to try and help us get better. So enough from me. You don't want to really hear me. We're going to cue a video, and we're going to be off and running on the program.
Good leaders empower teammates. Good teammates empower other teammates to shine, to do their best, to contribute. Every day matters, every second counts. You're gonna do this. If you're gonna put in the time, make it count. For you, for I, not for your team. How bad do you want it? How casual are you gonna be? Obstacles are excuses for losers and opportunities for winners.
One of the key components of business, listen twice as much as you talk. Being attentive, listening to your customers. They'll tell you what they need. Oftentimes, that's the next great opportunity.
My pursuit in life is emotional wealth, spiritual wealth. The vehicle is trying to pursue economic wealth, to be a catalyst to those things.
To the stage, Phil Mancuso. I was going to give all your titles, but there's so many, I don't want to cut into your time.
Thanks, everybody. It's awesome to see. I'm surprised everyone's not still sleeping. I know they were worried about that. It's awesome to be here. And I think to John's point, give yourselves a round of applause. This is like a cheap way to get people engaged, by the way. If you're not. Give yourselves a round of applause for being awake and being ready. And that happens here at NEXA. I got to tell you, we've been partners for a long time, and being engaged, I think, is a hallmark of this organization. And, we're certainly proud to be partnered with you guys. So, when I get up here and I do these things, I always talk about being prepared, and I'm never prepared for this stuff. But maybe I am, and more on that in a minute. But so I said to Jenny yesterday, what am I talking about? What's the theme? And she said, it's the market minute. And I said, not the market minute. The market mindset, because those of you that follow me on the gram, El Presidente _EPM, El Presidente _EPM if you don't, El Presidente _EPM just in case you missed that. I do the Mancuso Market Minute coming at you like a freight train. And so like, well, the market mindset, what am I talking about? And I'm like, well, I guess things I love, the market, a winning mindset, and me. So like, all right, I could pull this thing off. So without further ado, let's talk about a winning mindset and how you can kind of blend the market into that. One of the common traits that I've found among successful people, among successful businesses, is that they're able to differentiate themselves. That differentiating factor creates value. And we talk so much about price and rates and fees, and it just seems to be, this elephant in the room, this 800-pound gorilla that so burdens loan officers. And I was fortunate enough to really break those shackles of trying to sell in this industry. Everybody always being obsessed by rate, being obsessed by price. And how I did that was by becoming an expert in the markets. It was a passion of mine, and it was a differentiator. When folks would call me, I'd be sort of so studied about what's going on, so educated about what drives interest rates, that I was able to talk in a certain way, in a certain vernacular, with a certain sense of expertise, that folks would say, that's different. The other folks that I've spoken with, the other companies, the other loan officers, they didn't have this level of insight. And for me, that was my differentiator. I think it's important for you to find yours. But why am I here? I'm here to talk about the market. So I'm going to tell you that should be your differentiator. And so consequently, when a borrower would want to talk to me about rate, I talk about non-farm payroll. When they wanted to talk to me about fees, I talk to them about ISM. And a crazy thing happened. At a certain point, they stopped asking me about rate. They no longer cared about fees. Because the assumption was that because I knew what I was talking about, and I knew what I was talking about at an order of magnitude greater than my competitors, that the rate and the fees were almost assumed. That's creating value. Understanding who your competitors are, what they're going to say, what your strengths are, what their weaknesses are, vice versa. That's what winners do. A losing mindset is focusing on all of their strengths and all of your weaknesses. So, what were one of the things that allowed me to kind of differentiate myself from my competitors by sort of hanging on to what I felt was this core competence? Well, by the way, I go back to home sits in 1988. Who here has actually done a home sit? Just out of curiosity, show of hands. I don't think anybody. So what a home sit is that we used to have these things called phone books, and these people called telemarketers, and telemarketers would call people from these phone books and say, hey, would you like a loan officer to come out and talk to you about mortgages? They didn't quite say it that way, but I don't have a lot of time. And then they'd make an appointment, and you'd go into someone's house, and you'd sit, maybe, unless they threw you out. And so that's why it was called a home sit. And so if I got on the phone with someone or I got in front of someone, when you sort of understand what moves people to action, a question that I might have for you when we talk about competition, when we talk about the mindset of someone that's not a winner. I don't want to say a loser, but someone that's not a winner. Someone that's a loser. Right, is that they're afraid of competition. Winners lean into competition. Go outside on the street and to your, the nearest gas station. What do you see across the street from that gas station? Another gas station. What do you see across the street from McDonald's, Burger King? Great salespeople understand that the choice isn't do you want to buy. The choice is me or you. The choice is not do you want to buy. The choice is me or you. When can you speak? Tuesday or Wednesday? 12 or 1? That's powerful. The moment you understand that, the moment you stop justifying your existence and assuming the sale, the moment you become competent around why you exist, then the mindset of a winner is, I just want my fair share. And the better I do, the bigger my share will be. Who the hell wants to pitch people that don't need a mortgage? What's the point in that? You have to convince somebody why it makes sense to do business with a broker. Why? Do they or don't they want a mortgage? If they do, you have to create the value for them to pick you. So, if I get a phone call or a lead, the first thing I would do is understand what's happening in the financial markets that day. And I'd use that as a catalyst to communicate why today was the best day in the history of the world. I don't know, everybody's calling me today. The Fed's making an announcement on rates tomorrow. I assume that that's why you're calling me. Now, guess what? They were either calling me because they knew the Fed was coming out with a decision, or they're too embarrassed to say they didn't know that was happening. Either way, I've got them. Because the one thing I could control is that I knew more about what was happening that day than anyone else that they were going to talk to. Couldn't control their decision, couldn't control the timing of it, can't control my rates, although I do now. I do set rates for EPM. But I couldn't control my rates. Stop complaining to your cap markets people, your investors, about their shitty rates. You can't control it any more than they can, by the way. That is not a winner's mindset. There are many people that have done better than they've ever done in this uprate market because they are transformational leaders, not transactional leaders. So, you must be calling because the Fed's making a decision. Yeah. Right? So is everybody else. This is what I see. This is what I think you should do. This is going to be the outcome. I'm about 80% confident. Great. Sale. Don't have to talk to you about how my rate's better, your rate's better. Doesn't matter after you establish value. But wait, somebody said no. Yes, they're going to say no. No sales technique is intended to be 100% successful. Trait of a winner. A winner's willing to lose battles to win a war. A winner is willing to make mistakes. Comeback's better than the setback. Winners have to fail. Because if you don't fail, you don't appreciate the win. What propels success is the next obstacle, the next goal, the next win. That win is sweeter when you fail. Most winners remember the failures, but not in a way that inhibits their future success, in a way in which they learn what worked, what didn't work. What I found in establishing my competence, my differentiating factor, that I think especially today in this sort of social media society that we're in, is that there needs to be substance behind it. And so often we just sort of regurgitate. And the understanding of the difference between the mastery of something and just sort of the regurgitation of it or the memorization of it is important. And why is that? You're going to make plenty of sales if you just sort of inform people. There's no doubt about it. But that's not necessarily repeatable. Because what we've already established is that you're not going to be successful in 100% of your pitches. So now, once you establish sort of your baseline, your next goal is how do I increase upon that baseline? And the way you do it is by further differentiation. Instead of sort of talking about the market, making the market. Some ways in which you can do that, right? CRMs. So it's interesting. Everybody talks about a CRM. Everybody kind of uses CRM, but do we really use it? And how do you plug in the rates? And what's your plan? And what do you think the trajectory of the market is? And when do you need to be in front of the borrower at the point of sale? Here, show of hands, just out of curiosity. Forget about rates for a second. For those of you that do purchase money mortgages, how many of you on every single transaction follow up with both realtors, both lawyers, both title companies, any accountants that are in the deal? How many of you do that every single time? Show of hands. 20 of you? Stop it. Everybody. Everybody must do that. That's a multiplier. Incredibly powerful. Why don't we do it? I'm on to my next pitch. Transactional. Winners aren't transactional. If it means you got to get in a little bit earlier, if it means you got to stay a little bit later, that's what it takes. You know, that's been something that to me, not to sound like the old guy on the porch, but that's different than when I got into this business in '88. We're so unable at times to sort of delay gratification, which also, trade of a winner. Pay our dues. We want it now. It's not the way you build a sustainable business. It's not the way you build a sustainable book. In fact, I tell you, fuck the next pitch. Call the 6 people. I could only write 1 loan on that pitch. I could write 6 if I follow up with those people today. Now, winner's going to do both. And then they're going to do both tomorrow, and then all 4 the next day. So, let's talk about this for a second. How are we going to solve for this problem that I quite craftily created for you guys? Sales is, I touched on this at TAG if you were at TAG, and we're rolling it out here today. We're going to put a QR code on one of these screens. I'm going to do a market huddle every single day for the industry. Free. You can participate. And you're going to be behind the scenes. I'm going to be at my desk looking at a screen talking about the data. If you've consumed my content, elpresidente_EPM, you know that even though everybody says you got to do a minute every day and sometimes I don't do it, it's because, are we putting the QR code up on the screen, by the way, or what are we doing here? Okay. So, so I don't do them every day because I want these things to be meaningful. I don't want it to, hey, non-farm payroll just came out. You're too late, right? Can't make money that way. You make money in speculation. You make money by calling the shot before it happens. But here's what we're going to do every single day. It's going to be 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, depending on how big the day is. I'm going to walk you through the logic of how we're going to trade our position that day. Right? I'm going to begin to show you the ropes on what goes into the pricing of the loan, the underlying coupons, MBS, spec pools. Help you become an expert in this matter. For some of you, maybe that's your differentiator. For others, maybe it's just a tool in your toolbox. Doesn't matter. Winning is about being competent. Winning is about being able to stand in front of people and talk about any particular subject intelligently. Because it's about them, not about you. You don't know what they want to speak about. They want to talk about their kid's soccer game? Figure that out. Talk about their soccer game. But we're going to do this every day. We're going to open it up to some questions in the chat. We're going to record it, so if you want to send it to your customers about why the Fed cut rates and rates are going up, all that good stuff. Not going to get any data today because of the government shutdown. But what we hope to accomplish with this, what I know we'll accomplish with this, is help to put you in a position to where you can manufacture the content, not just regurgitate mine or someone else's. Make you a true expert and differentiate yourself from everyone else. So have a great NEXA Fest. You guys are going to crush it. Love you.
All right, let's do a little Mike back in the day. Way back when, in fact, I think there's 3 of us in this room now who used to manage Mike, one way or another. 2 directly, I was kind of indirectly. So I'm sure many of you have heard the stories, right? Mike did this, and Mike did that, and Mike did. I got to tell you, I was there. So the volume story, it's true. The consistency, very true. The repetition, beyond true. Like to where it's like, you what? Are you okay? Sweetie, you checked out? That's a lot. I'll tell you one he doesn't tell stories about, and that is, as you probably know, Mike lives in Phoenix, Arizona. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. And in the summertime, I mean, Phoenix is as hot as the face of Mercury. I mean, it is a miserable place to be. And I can vividly remember more than once, you know, you're going to a meeting or so you're parked and it's like 800 degrees and your tires have melted off and the pavement, it's blacktop, it's like 7,000 degrees. And here comes Mike. 3-piece suit, peacock strut, right? And it is tight. It is dialed. It is tight. It is sharp. Casual Friday, get out of here. 6 a.m., noon, midnight. I never, ever, ever saw Mike not in a 3-piece suit. And it was tight. It wasn't wrinkled. I mean, I don't know how many of them he had, probably 5, and they were perfectly coiffed each day, but it was tight. Now, a lot of references to Mike here. Maybe there's some people in the crowd who don't know who Mike is. A lot of us do. If you don't know, I bet you could figure it out because you're probably going to see Mike giving out his cell phone to people. If you have a recruit in this room, I guarantee your recruit already has his cell phone number. You're probably going to see Mike giving a really hard time to Dan Fouts. That seems to be a sport at this company. Where's Dan? Dan's out there somewhere laughing. You will probably at some point maybe see Mike take a very small sip of very expensive tequila. What I guarantee you will see is you will see somebody fighting for his LOs. You will see somebody fighting for NEXA. And you will see somebody stomp the enemy if they try and damage you or this company. The founder and CEO of NEXA Mortgage, Mike Cordes.
Started from the bottom, now my whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team in. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. So, that peacock strut was an actual limp, thank you. I had a 2-inch short leg on my left side. I had to have a full hip replacement. And I'm the one guy, as DJ tried to remind you of last year, the wrong direction. I'm the one guy that can say the doctor gave me an inch. So It's not quite the peacock strut anymore. Thank you. But I did. I wore a suit every single day. Nobody ever did not see me in a suit. I didn't care if it was what day it was. Today, I can do what I want. So I wear a much more simplistic outfit. In fact, a lot of you might think that I didn't change from last night. I am a little upset that some of you didn't realize my attire last night was the best in the room. I mean, I was Vanilla Ice. You didn't recognize that? So, anyhow, guys, I want to talk to you about a couple of things, right? Big thing about NEXA Mortgage is we don't live with limits, right? Our theme this year is no limits for a reason because we don't believe in them. We believe we can do more than anybody's ever done. We believe we can do things that nobody's ever done. We believe we can do the things that they say cannot be done. We've done them, we continue to do them, and we have more to come all along the way, right? We don't believe in ceilings of any kind, no finish lines, no barriers, nothing, right? A year ago, people doubted us. A year ago, the industry was still not doing well, but we've gotten stronger all along the way. You know, I'll give you some of the numbers along the way. 1 year ago, today, we had 2,722 loan officers. Today, we have 3,339, and that does not include the ones that are currently onboarding, right? So we're growing like crazy. So 617 validated, verified loan officers inside of 1 year. I don't know many companies who can say they're doing that in down years. Right? But it's what makes us strong. It's what makes us better. It's what makes us keep getting better. So resilience is our thing, right? NEXA 100 is a thing for us. We introduced it last year, and everybody thought, you know, all the critics, they came out loud saying that it's not sustainable. It's going to fail. You can't give out 100% and still stay in business, right? But we proved them wrong. So. Instead, it makes us better. It makes us stand out from the crowd, right? We have to be smarter in how we operate on the company side, don't get me wrong, right? I have to be a lot sharper in all the skills and the things that I do at the corporate side. We have to do things a lot, you know, in much stronger ways and get a lot more impact for what we're doing because, yes, NEXA 100 is an extremely risky thing to do. But we have paid back millions of dollars per month. We are giving back to loan officers so that they can grow their business with NEXA 100. Nobody in the industry is giving our loan officers what NEXA Mortgage is giving our loan officers. We're the only ones. And frankly, they all don't know how we do it, and I love that they don't know how we do it. I love that they have these theories, and I like watching these conspiracy theories online. I don't actually argue with them, because I'm trying not to argue online anymore, if you guys haven't noticed. Why you gotta cheer for that? Noted, I heard you. So, but I love watching these conspiracy theories, and I love just watching people ramble on about how it is we do it, and the smoke and mirrors and all this stuff. And I let them do it, because the more they do it, and I see some crazy, funny theories that they have, but the more they do it, and to you guys, I would encourage you to let them do it as well. Encourage them to do it because they keep talking about us, right? They keep talking about us online. Even the people who are talking about us negatively are giving us dramatic attention. And so I've decided to stop fighting them and let them do it because bad press is still press. It still works. And the more people who talk about us, now when you talk to them, kill them with kindness, be nice, but let them keep talking. Encourage them to keep trying to figure it out. So it works for me. But paying our people is what we do, right? And I encourage anybody who thinks the NEXA 100 program doesn't work to prove me wrong and try it themselves. But they can't because they don't have the structure in place to do it. We set this structure in place years ago to be able to do what we're doing today, right? So they're years behind is what it comes down to. But we're not done. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep growing, right? We had the addition of Action Realty, as you guys all know. How many people here are with Action right now? Love you guys. Guys, I think Action Realty is going to double or triple this crowd next year. Right? This is going to be a much bigger convention next year than it was this year, just because of that addition alone. And Chase is killing it over there. Chase is doing a great job driving from state to state, getting people set up, doing everything that he's doing. But the idea of action is very much the foundation of NEXA. To have a better model than anybody in the industry, regardless, right? We can give away all of the company's profits because there are other ways to make money than on transactions. You don't have to make money on transactions in order to make money in this industry. That's what our competitors haven't figured out, or they do know it, and they just don't want to do anything about it because that's how they make money. And that's where greed sets in. And this is what I don't believe in, obviously. So, but the Action Realty program is not about, it's really about the influence, right? It's about the expansion of everything NEXA and influencing everywhere within the industry. And so when we can work with our real estate partners directly like this, encourage them to also potentially get licensed as loan officers, we can control the entire ecosystem. And every one of you guys benefit, especially if you're taking advantage of programs like the revenue share program. So we're very excited about it. And by the way, there's more to come. We're not going to stop there, right? We are, you know, with NEXA University, right? I don't know many companies training as many loan officers into this industry as we are training. We are leading the industry and showing people how to do mortgages and get this into this business. And a lot of the people out of our NEXA Elite Club come from that NEXA University program. It took them a couple years, but hats off. Where's my NEXA University? Let's go with anybody that's been in NEXA University in the past. All right, let me hear you though. There we go. All right? So we're showing the industry that we can bring new people into the industry, new ideas, because what we don't live off of is bad ideas. Go back up a little bit. I skipped one section on purpose. Scroll it back down. Back down. Keep going. Keep going. Other way. Other way. Other way. Right there. Right there. Right there. Right. I should have put these in order for you. I apologize. But also, right, the future. Let's talk about the future. And a lot about what we want to talk today is about the future. Because what we've done in the past is never going to be good enough for me. I don't care about what I did last week. I don't care that I won yesterday. I care that I win today. A lot of people have heard me say in the past that I don't have long-term, short-term, or mid-term goals. I simply only have daily goals. I wake up in the morning and I ask myself, look myself in the mirror, and I says, what are you going to do today? And when I go to bed that night, I got to look myself back in that mirror today and ask if I actually did it. And I learned a long time ago, if I can accomplish every single daily goal that I set, your short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals will get blown out of the water. You will have no idea you've actually established every one of them like I did. However, I want to tell you guys, right, I do my daily goals a little different. Today I use ChatGPT, and I tell ChatGPT every morning at 6 a.m., ask me for what my daily goals are. And every night at 9 p.m., ask me if I obtain them. And I document that inside ChatGPT, journaling, if you will, my experience, and if I'm doing it. And it collects that information, obviously. And then you can ask ChatGPT to push you harder. Right? There's other formats out there. There's other AI platforms out there that you can use beside that. But my point to this is that AI is, in fact, going to be the future. I use AI to change how I do business. I think you should be using it to change how you do business. Does everybody in here have a ChatGPT paid account? Anybody not have one? Don't lie. Come on, you can be honest. I got some of you guys. Guys, pay it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. If you don't pay it, by the way, you're putting your information out to the entire world. If you pay for it, it keeps your private information a little bit more. I journal in it. Don't you think for a minute I'm putting my personal thoughts out into the world. So, but AI is the future, right? And we're excited with our partnership with Tidal Wave and Beverly to expand that. And a lot of our partners that you're going to see in the room next door are coming into us with that. And we're excited about that. It's not where I wanted it today. And the people that are here today, like I promised you, you will get it first. You will get it first. I think we're about, and we'll have to confirm with Jason, I think we're about a week or so out of rolling out the full POS for you guys. Right? It had a few more glitches and bugs in it because we're broker-based, right? Non-delegated correspondent. That's what we do. So it had some glitches because all these AI companies, the only thing they were going after was bankers. That's it. They left the brokers out of it, and the bankers were doing that shit on purpose too. Sorry, Jay. They were doing that on purpose too. Right? One for the virtual cuss jar, right? So they were doing that on purpose. Is it $5 per person that heard it? Or so they were doing that to us on purpose. But Jason and I set out to make sure that you guys are not left out of this. And we are extremely excited. And Jason has done a phenomenal job twisting people's arms, major AI companies, and getting them to give us what we need and what we want. And big shout out to our partners who are committing to working with us in the AI platform. PennyMac is committed to working with us in the AI. All the NEXA 100 is committed to working with us in the platform. We're especially excited about UWM because they pretty much have a lot of it built out, and they've agreed to share us all of their agents. They have over 300 agents in their AI already set up, so that once we get to that stage, it's going to be a quick addition for them. So, but our lenders are all coming through and committing to us as well, committing to you guys to do those things. So make sure you thank them for those things because that's what's going to make us unstoppable. Now, AI is here. I have seen these systems work. It is impressive, right? But it is not your competitor, right? AI is going to be your companion. It's going to be your arsenal. It will not compete against you. You just have to embrace it and understand how to use it because it will replace you if you do not embrace it. It will. And look to your loan officer to your left or right. They're the ones who are going to be using it to replace you. So don't look at AI as a competitor. It is absolutely going to be your friend. So it's going to make everything faster. You're going to have smarter underwriting, predictive analytics. It's going to empower you to do great things. So it's going to allow NEXA loan officers specifically to lead the way. We are making sure that you are not going to be left out of this. And I'm telling you, I go to these MBA meetings, and they're talking about this is how they're going to get their market share back from brokers. Because AI is expensive. It's not cheap. It sounds cheap because you guys use ChatGPT maybe, but it has a lot of expense to it. And our lender partners and some vendors are helping us out with that to make sure I provide AI free to all of NEXA Nation. I still believe that within 6 to 24 months, right, you will see this AI software roll out in phases. And I still believe 6 months, you are going to have a completely different world than you have now when it comes to originating mortgages. But in 24 months, nothing will be the same. Everything will be different. So you all need to watch these speakers, listen to how they're getting their business, listen to the things that they're doing in the next 2 days, right? And take from it the influence part of it. And when I say influence, I'm not just talking about TikTok. I'm just talking about going to find business, right? One of the most prominent loan officers in the world will be a drunk. There's hope. Right? Think about it. When you don't have to do a loan anymore because the AI system is doing it for you, but you do have to have a license, you can sit at a bar all day and just talk to the two people to your left and right. Somebody's going to want a mortgage. Every day you might get a mortgage. You'll be closing 20 deals a month. Be solid, depending on how many days you need rest. But anyway, you get my point. There is going to be a 20-year-old TikToker who is going to blow you all away when AI comes out in mortgages. They're just going to pick up a license, not going to know how to do loans, and they're going to crush you in business if you don't learn how to do what they're doing. So it's a very powerful weapon. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and turn over and let the fun continue on. Right? We're going to continue to equip you with all the tools, the knowledge, and the strategies that you guys need to succeed. And guys, I want you to remember, we're not done. We have so many boundaries left to blow open. Right? There are no limits at NEXA whatsoever. Right? We're at 3,300 loan officers now. We are going to get to 5,000 loan officers, like I've said. We're going to do it with a cleaner reputation. We're going to do it with better technology. And we're going to do it with you guys, right? We're over $10.5 billion projecting for the year. We're going to hit $15 billion. That's going to open up a lot of doors for you. And I need your help to do it. I need your help to grow NEXA. I don't need your help just to grow NEXA with recruiting, by the way. I need every one of you guys to really focus on and say, I have to do one more loan per month all of next year. From here till next NEXA Fest. Look at your numbers. I need you all to do one more loan a month. If you're only doing one a month right now, you know you can do more. I know you can do more. You won't convince me that it's that hard, right? You have the best rates in the business, more programs than anybody in the business, and you have the highest compensation in the business. You cannot convince me you don't have the tools necessary. If you're doing 10 loans a month, I love you. You can get to 11. You can do it. One loan a month, guys. If we did that at NEXA Nation, we'd have 3,300 more loans per month. Do you know what that would do for our volume and our control of the industry? And for what we can help and do with that to build technology? So we're not done, right? How far can NEXA go? NEXA can go as far as it wants, right? I am not quiet when people ask me my end goal. My end goal, I kid you not, is congressional hearings. I want to sit up on stage or in front of that Congress, and I want them to ask me why it is that NEXA loan officers own the U.S. mortgage market along with our lending partners. But I need you to help me do it. So no ceilings, no finish lines, no barriers, guys. At NEXA, we have no limits. I want you to have a good time the next couple of days. Learn, talk. Look, these speakers are only going to be in 20-minute segments. Grab them in the halls. Grab them afterwards. That's the idea, is that we're going to get you content. And we're not talking about speakers that are just social media influencers and just act like they're good. These guys are actually producers. We don't let non-producers come up here. So I appreciate you guys.
My hands, they ain't so greasy, feel me? Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, cause I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day. Illuminate my future, God, so
Hey! All right, can you guys hear me? Good morning, NEXA Nation. How are you? So Mike forgot that he was supposed to intro me. So I don't get an intro. That's okay. I don't need one? I don't know. There was an LO who asked my nephew if I worked at NEXA. How did that happen? All right. So, as many of you know, one of my favorite things to talk about is perspective. And so today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and why I have the perspective that I have, okay? So, I grew up as the oldest of 4, and as a child, my mom battled depression a lot. So, there were some really rough times, and there were some really good times, but the hard times were hard, all right? There we are. Look at that mischievous smile my baby brother's got. He's still the troublemaker. All right. But one thing that was constant was the fact that my dad was up before the sun, gone to work, battling, working hard, and his dad started his construction company just after World War II. And so this was a family-owned business, and he started working in that business at a very young age. He was up and gone before the sun was up, and most times he was not home until it was at least dark 30, right? It was dark outside. He was determined to make that company what it became. He put in the hours, he put in the work, and he is the reason I have the work ethic that I have from watching him. All right, now we get to the fun stuff. In 2001, I met my beautiful husband online. Yes, 2001, that's the very beginning of the whole dating online saga, right? From our first official date to the day that we said I do was exactly 3 months. We just celebrated 24 years, so it worked. But in keeping with that fashion, our oldest was born 9 days before our first wedding anniversary. We then proceeded to have 3 more. Alex turned 5 2 weeks before his baby sister was born. So I had 4 in 5 years. And for about 2 weeks, Christopher, my second son, he was 2 for 2 weeks until Natalie was born, until after Natalie was born. So he turned 3 2 weeks after she was born. So for 2 weeks, I like to claim that I had 3, 2 and under. All right. as you can imagine, this is kind of what my life was, right? Juggling everything. My husband was in the automotive industry. I'm going to grab this water. My husband was in the automotive industry, and he worked a commission-based job. I was a stay-at-home mom with 4 little kids. So he was gone working, taking care of what he needed to take care of, and I was at home taking care of everything that I could handle, right? So, as you all know, you're LOs, commission-based can be a little scary sometimes. And there are good times and there are bad times, and sometimes it's a struggle. And we had those times. He would be at work and there wouldn't be any work. No work, no pay. So I did everything that I could to manage, make sure everything was good. Around this time, I took a position as a part-time daycare in a kids club at a gym. I had 3 littles. My oldest wasn't there yet. My baby wasn't here. But at that point, I met Amy. And the reason I tell you this is because Amy is an integral part of my story at NEXA. So I met Amy, and we had our last babies together. They were about 6 weeks apart. I knew she was pregnant before she knew she was pregnant. I handed her the test and said, hey, you need to go take this. So over the years, there was a lot of struggle that she and I had in common. Her husband at the time was also in the automotive industry, and so our struggles were very similar. She had an older daughter. My daughters were little. Her daughter's clothes came to my girls. My sons were older. Their clothes went to her son. Like, that's just how we worked. We were together. We made sure we could help each other in any way possible. So we're gonna fast forward. 2013, we were living in Nevada, and my husband and I decided that it was time to come back to Arizona. We'd been in Nevada for 2 years, and we were ready to be back where there was some sunlight and no snow. So we made the decision, and it was mid-July, and school was already in session in Arizona. So 36 hours after we made the decision, I had the car packed up, my 4 little kids, a small trailer, 2 dogs, and I was headed to Arizona. Rich stayed to finish the 700, how big was the house? 910 square feet. We'd completely demolished. He had to stay and finish it so we could actually sell it. So I took the kids, went back to Arizona, and I moved in with my in-laws. Now, if you've never lived with your in-laws, you don't understand. Those of you who have, you feel me. It was hard living in someone else's house. That was not something we had ever done before. We'd always owned our own homes. So moving in was a little rough. A few months later, my husband came. We sold the house. We looked at getting him into a new job, and then we decided that it might be the best time for him to go back to school. So he had always wanted to get his engineering degree, and at this point, he'd never had the opportunity. Well, we're already living with my in-laws. So he went back to school, and I accepted a full-time position. So I went back to work. I was working part-time at Sam's Club, but I went to work full-time for the first time in 12 years. That was a little scary. So, if any of you have ever worked at Sam's Club or Walmart, you know that overtime is not acceptable. So, one week I had about 15 minutes of overtime, and my supervisor told me that I needed to take an extra 30 minutes at lunch. No. So, of course, I called Amy. This is me and Amy. I called Amy, and I'm telling her all of my woes at the time, right? And she tells me, well, Sam's hiring. Well, what is he hiring for? Data entry? Okay, what do I need to do? Filled out the application and got my first interview with Mike. Well, it was my only interview with Mike, let's be honest. Had my first interview with Mike, and I'm sitting across the desk from him, and he looks at me, and he says, "You're a good little Mormon girl." you can't handle us. Sam looks at him and says, she handles Amy. He went, oh, okay. And he gave me a shot, right? So I got my offer from EPM, because that's who Mike worked for at the time. And it was a little bit of a hard decision for a couple of reasons. First, it was Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. That is not the schedule I was working at Sam's Club. I was in the bakery making beautiful cake, but that is not my schedule. I was there nights, weekends, holidays, 8 to 5. I'll take it. No weekends. More family time, but it was a pay cut. So my husband and I discussed, determined it was worth a shot. I wasn't happy where I was. He's a full-time student at ASU by this point in his engineering program, so I took it. About 3 months in, we are in a new office. We just moved back into a new office. And I say back because Mike had been in the office previously. So back into the office that he picked out long before, and the Wi-Fi wasn't working like it should. You know, everything we do is online, right? No Wi-Fi, no work. So Mike yelled down from his office, hey, get it fixed. He's yelling at the receptionist, get it fixed. She didn't get it fixed. And at one point, she went to lunch. Oh, she went to lunch, and she didn't come back. So I think it was the next day, Mike called me up into his office, and he says, all right, I have two choices. I can give you a raise, and you can take on both jobs, or I can hire someone else. So give it to me. I'll take it. I'm happy to take that. So much for my no nights, no weekends, but it was worth it, right? So I was making minimum wage at the time, and Mike doubled my pay. Okay, that was worth the risk, right? I took it. Not long after, about 3 months, we opened NEXA. We opened NEXA with a handful of loan officers and me. And we have grown NEXA 5 loan officers to 3,300 plus in 8 years. Now, there have been a lot of changes over those 8 years. We've had 11, or is it 12 now? 11 compensation changes. Every compensation change has been for the betterment of our LOs. We want to pay you more and give you more, do more for you, right? Can we go back one on my notes? Thank you. We've had a lot of changes. We've had a lot of growth. So I frequently hear, how did you handle 4 kids so close in age, right? My answer is, I can't imagine my life without them. They are the reason I see things the way I see things. They're the reason that I can manage I'm trying not to say insanity because NEXA really isn't insanity, but then sometimes it is. So they're the reason I can manage all of the chaos, right? I am the keeper of all the chaos at NEXA. But they are the reason that I can do that, having 4 of them. I hear frequently, how does NEXA handle 3,300 plus loan officers? I remember when we had 50, when we had 100. What we didn't have was our systems. Loan officer support, LOS, all of the things that you guys have to utilize now were not in place. Believe me, it was much harder to manage those 50 and 100 than it is now. We've got amazing systems in place so that we can take good care of you guys. Oh. All right. So the reason I tell you a little bit of my backstory and where we are now is I think it's important to emphasize the change that's happened over the last 8 years. I remember standing in line, and I wasn't sure if I was going to share this today. I remember standing in line with my friend Amy, the one who got me the job with Mike. But I remember standing with her in line for a $7 food box so that I can make sure I could feed my family that week. I remember making minimum wage. Wow. I remember making minimum wage and worrying about being able to make the car payment. Then the car got repossessed. That wasn't great, right? That only happened one and only time. It will never happen again. But I remember what those struggles were like. And Amy was there for those. And Amy's the reason I got to work with Mike. The only good thing he says it's the only good thing we got out of Sam. But now I'm here with you guys. I'm the executive director of the largest mortgage brokerage in the nation. You guys are awesome. So, NEXA has changed my life. The way that I see things, my perspective, might be the result of my kids, but you guys are, can't think of the word I want to use, you guys are gaining or gleaning from that experience. We're here to help you. We want you guys to grow in so many ways. But keeping the proper perspective on how things are, even when things are rough and changing, is going to serve you better. So, I'm going to give you guys a challenge. Are you ready? Do you guys like challenges? All right, this is your challenge. I want you to go and find your perspective. When you are in a situation that you're not sure about, find your perspective. Thank you.
I like that song. Yeah, it's a good choice. Next up, we're gonna do a bit of a panel. I'm gonna introduce the moderator, Kim Nichols with PennyMac TPO. She's been there since 2011. Let's see, 30 years experience in all kinds of different positions in the mortgage industry. In fact, when I started to look at all of them, I thought, I mean, I would have filled my little handy-dandy page here. I wouldn't have been able to come up with it. I'm like, all right, were you the janitor too? I mean, what else did you do in the back in the day? And then I hear a rumor, and since I'm going to say it, you're going to have to answer to it, that somewhere your career started in a closet. So we're going to leave that to you. But coming to the stage, Kim Nichols, the Chief TPO Production Officer at PennyMac.
Good morning, Nexans! Wow, that is a tough act to follow. Rana, you got me a little choked up there, and it's so inspiring. So we're going to continue with some inspiration today with the amazing panelists that we have. I will introduce them in a moment, but Mike told me that I could take a few minutes to shamelessly promote PennyMac. So I'm going to do that. First of all, we've got a lot of our teammates here. You probably saw us running around in those like purpley neon t-shirts last night. It was such a fun party. Thanks for having us out. The privilege of being a platinum sponsor for NEXA. We love the partnership that we've built with you guys. It's been amazing from 3 years ago, breaking bread with Mike and Jason DuPont, DJ. and to where we're at today in building this partnership. We recently announced that PennyMac is now part of NEXA 100. Woo! All right, now's your time. You can go talk to our folks over here today on the break. And the other thing that we're excited about is AI. And we've had a lot of conversations together in our partnership. Mike and Jason have been on Zoom calls with our AI team, our Chief Technology Officer, and we're pumped about what you guys are doing. The vision of a one-touch close, wow, that is so powerful because you guys can see all the studies. The cost to produce, the operational cost to produce alone, in our world, the lender or the correspondent, non-delegated correspondent investor, it's expensive. And the more you touch files, the more it costs. So the vision of a one-touch close is very, very appealing to PennyMac. And we're going to be lined up with you with your AI plans, and we can't wait to see what that delivers in terms of results. We're really pumped about it. So I'll just, I'll kind of, I know you guys are wondering like why my career started in a closet. And I know this is not about me. This is about two amazing ladies I'm about to introduce to the stage. But I will answer the question so you're not like wondering how this happened. I was going to school part-time, and I wanted a temp job. And I went to this temp agency, and my dad had owned a trucking company when I was growing up, and I worked summers for him. And so, in my background, they said, oh, this girl's done shipping. So they sent me to a mortgage company in the shipping department when we actually photocopied loan files to ship them off to investors. We were actually physically shipping loans to Fannie Mae. So I got thrown in a closet that was converted to a copy room, and literally it was small, like tiny, tiny room without windows, and all day long I photocopied loan files. But I did it on the executive floor, and so I got to meet a lot of the execs, and I just kept asking them questions. So one day, the senior guy in charge of capital markets says, Kimmy, in his nice little Texas accent, Kimmy, you come to my office 2 o'clock today. I'm gonna tell you everything you wanna know. Did I do that Texas thing okay for all you? Okay. So he gets on his whiteboard, and then he kept mentoring me. He should have been a professor. His name is Bob Lee, awesome guy. And he just taught me everything about capital markets. So that's how I got grounded in this business. My foundation is capital markets, pricing, trading, execution, hedging. I did all that stuff, and it gave me a good foundation for what I'm doing today, which is running the TPO channel at PennyMac. So let's pivot. The name of this session is Breaking Barriers. My goodness, we're going to welcome to the stage a couple of ladies that have not only broken barriers, they have crushed them. I was looking at some of the numbers they're putting up, amazing. They're both so humble. They've done this through their own, innovation, resilience. What I love most about them is that they are true to themselves. I know when I came into this channel and, PennyMac said, hey, Kim, we want to open up this wholesale thing. Can you come run it for us? I was really intimidated. And I was intimidated because my impression is that this channel is very bro-y. And I love you bros. Like, you guys know I love you, right? But it was very, very male-dominated, and it was kind of intimidating. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not like that. I'm not like them. I don't know if I can do this. And then my boss just pushed my ass through that door, said, you can do this. You got this, Kim. Just be yourself. That's easier said than done, right? But what I'm really impressed with these ladies is how much they've maintained their own authenticity. They're building a brand out of their true selves. So let me welcome to the stage Tara Krieg and Michelle McHugh. This is yours. You guys are perfect. So you can see up there Amira was supposed to join us today, and she fell victim to the air traffic control situation out of Knoxville. So she's not going to be here till this afternoon. So she's a badass also. Amazing story for her, and I'm really sorry she can't make it to the stage today, but just an elite producer at NEXA and a great lady. But welcome. So excited that you're here, and it's been fun getting to know you just through our prep. We're going to jump right in, and I'm going to make you guys talk about yourselves and brag a little bit. And I know that's probably not natural for both of you based on our conversations, but this room deserves to hear your story. How did you get into the business? And how have you reached levels of success that you've achieved, which are your numbers are really impressive, and I hope you share some of those out. Really inspiring. So, Tara, why don't we start with you?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I landed in the mortgage business by happenstance. How many of you, by the show of hands, sought out mortgage as your career? Oh my gosh, like 4 hands. I worked in the finance industry. I worked in mortgage and fraud, which is a lot of fun, a lot of investigation. But I had 4 small kids, much like Rana. I had 3 kids by the age of 24. So I had a husband that was a federal agent, and we worked split shifts. So he worked nights, I worked days. We rarely saw each other. And we made the decision to have me come home for a couple years until the kids were in school. And I don't cook, and I don't like to clean, and being a housewife wasn't something I was very good at. And I really missed work. And so I had a girlfriend, and her husband worked in the mortgage industry, and he had a real estate show that generated mortgage leads, and she knew that I had a lot of experience with credit card services and credit, and she asked me to come and read credit reports and do some preliminary pre-approvals for clients who were inquiring on their real estate show. And so that is the beginning of my mortgage story and how I landed in mortgage 23 years ago. So that was back in 2002. I worked with that husband and wife team until 2011. And for those of you that were in the mortgage business that long ago, you know that was a really difficult time to be in the mortgage business. We split our revenue 3 ways. And I remember us praying together in the mornings just that we would be able to find families in need of our services and that there would be enough to go around. Well, in 2011, I found myself in a situation where I was going through a really unexpected divorce. It was really difficult, and at the time, my youngest was maybe 18 months old, and my daughter was in 6th grade. She was the oldest. So I needed to figure out how I was gonna put a roof over these babies' heads real fast. And I just turned 47 on Monday, and I was out to dinner, and somebody asked me, what was my biggest aha moment of turning 47? And I remember immediately thinking that I had been in this season of survival. And when I listened to Rana's story, and I'm sure many of you in the audience, this resonates with you, when you find yourself in a situation like that, you don't really ask yourself what's possible. You don't say, what are the odds of success? Let me look at the numbers. Let me figure it out. You just put your head down and you start swimming. And that's what I did. Back in 2011, I didn't really think about, is it gonna work? I just said, I don't have a choice. And I just started swimming. And what's interesting when you're in moments like that is the world becomes very small. And you only see what's right in front of you. And that is the biggest blessing of crisis, because the only way to get through it is to get focused. And so with that, I started serving families, and I wasn't focused on the numbers, and I wasn't focused on any specific goals. I was just focused on finding people that needed my help. And I was able to use the years of experience that I had leading up to that moment to really start building a brand. And that brand was really following through on the promises that we made to people and doing a good job. And so with that, we achieved some things we didn't really seek out to achieve. I ended up getting involved in a coaching program in 2019 called The Core. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Very militant, run by a guy named Rick Ruby. But it really changed my life, and that's kind of where I'm at today.
Thank you for sharing that. So, such an inspiration, Tara. Thank you. And you know, it's like none of us say, well, when I grow up, I'm going to
be a loan officer,
right? Yeah. So Michelle, talk to us about your story and your journey.
Much like you, much like most of us, I came to the mortgage industry by happenstance, probably more necessity than happenstance. Mom of 7. We had a terrible medical situation that was financially, sociologically, psychologically, medically just crushing. And it really impacted not only our family and our economics, but also our careers. So there was a point in 2019 where I had to step away from the company that I had worked for and loved for years. And my husband's company was less than graceful with a medical situation that you have to take care of the emergent, before you can do anything else. So it was, he was going to be on the East Coast, and I was going to be in Chicago with the 7 kids, and you better figure out how to provide, because you not only have a few $1 million in medical bills, you better get a new job. So at my prior position, I had met a gentleman who said, if you ever think about this career, I think you'd be great at it. I gave it 0 thought. I never really thought about it until the bottom dropped out. And when it did, you panic. You're like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? Do I have any skills? Does anybody want me? Am I ever going to have a job again? Are we going to live in a refrigerator box? Like, what the hell's going to happen? And I called him and I said, I'm ready. And he said, well, I'm not. I'm like, oh God, all right. Like, that's not good. So I'm like, okay, but it's still a good idea. So take a step back. And I went through the training, took the test, started with a small company. May not have used the best judgment with a small company, but that's okay. COVID hit, and I still had never closed a loan at that point because I was so brand new. I had just been licensed. I'm 5 years in now. And he called and said, we're overwhelmed with leads, because all of a sudden COVID hit and the whole world needed a house, right? So I learned because I had to. I survived because I had to, and much like you said, if you don't have a choice, you're going to figure it out. So from 6 in the morning till about 11 o'clock at night, I did guidelines. I took every loan they gave me, and I assure you, they gave me the worst ones. I think for the first 6 months, I did nothing but manufactured homes that had the very worst situations and the very worst condition. I don't think I closed a loan over $100,000 the first 9 months I was a loan officer. But every time somebody threw something just disastrous at me, I was like, okay, I can get mad or I can learn from this. And if you've got 7 people to feed, you better figure out how to learn from it. So I did. And then during COVID, kind of got my sea legs and figured it out. And I think that first year I made $29,000 and put our mortgage in forbearance and kind of crossed my fingers and toes and prayed we'd make it through it. And then the next year I did $48 million. And I was like, okay, we're getting this.
Woo-hoo!
And I still, I'm not at the point where I've done it as long as you. I don't feel like I quite have that footing yet. I still wake up scared every day. I still wake up hungry every day. I still psychotically hold myself to, you better get up early and you better work late and you better take it seriously. But I'm getting there, and I hope as I get there and as I learn that I can help other people too, because I'm guessing most of us in this room didn't land here because they love mortgages so much. They landed here because they need to take care of their families.
But we keep going because we love mortgages so much.
We do.
That's right, yeah.
We love it.
Yeah. Pretty similar stories between you two ladies, and then Raina, in her story with her family. At certain points in our lives, in our careers, there are catalysts, there are turning points. And so as you advanced into your journey, I guess, what is the turning point or catalyst that made you top producers? And I'm going to brag for you guys. I looked up some numbers, and I hope these are right. So we were able to pull this out of our system. So Tara, the last 6 months, you've closed 44 units for about 21 million. So that's an 88 unit run rate for a 12-month period. Very impressive.
Yeah, we're a husband-wife team, so
more.
a fraction of those go in my husband's name and the rest go in mine. But in 2019, before COVID hit, we did 53 million. I did personal production 53 million. In 2020, we did 113 million. Woo! So about 33 loans a month, and we're still recovering.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for anyone. And Michelle, what I found about you is that over the past 6 months, 40 units funded, 15 million. So that would put you at like a $30-ish million a year run rate, or is that about right?
I do a lot of non-QM that doesn't report. So I think when I looked last night, I think we were at 81 loans for the year and about 27 million. So.
Woo, woo, woo. All right, so this is our chance to learn from some elite producers, but talk about that catalyst or turning point moment, after you establish yourself, you realize you've got game, and I think if you can share with everyone, what kind of propelled you into that top producer category? Was there one moment in time?
I think it just happened, honestly. I kind of use that analogy of paddling, and you're working really hard and you're planting a lot of seeds, and then all of a sudden you're in harvest and you didn't realize it. And when you're surrounded by really supportive people, all of a sudden you believe you can do it too. I think there's something to be said about surrounding yourself with people who really support you and support your goal and vision and see things in you that you didn't see in yourself. I remember specifically a handful of people who came to me and said, you can do this on your own. I was on a team and I was kind of in the background, as a junior loan officer, and I didn't know if I believed that was true. And so I think it's important to surround yourself with people who see things in you that you haven't seen in yourself yet.
Awesome. Michelle?
I think for me, it's more when somebody doubts me. If you're going to doubt me and you think you're going to break me, I'm going to double it.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. You're not going to win. I also think there's an incredible responsibility we feel. I think once we have our footing, you now are responsible for these families you're caring for. And that weighs heavily on each of us. We've talked about that. So it's not just producing, it's carrying through with what you've promised to.
When we were talking, something resonated for me, and I wasn't even going to ask this question originally, but what resonated very much was NEXA and how you've been able to evolve your own brand and your own voice and your own market because of the NEXA platform and what it enables you to do. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit about that and, kind of what is your brand? How do you get referrals? How are you winning? Leveraging the NEXA platform.
So for me, I worked for AmeriFirst Financial for about 20 years. And it was, I don't know if Mike's in the room, but we were struggling with price, and we were struggling to have enough product to really solve the problems. And if I'm being really honest, we sold against the broker world for years. We said they don't have control, they can't provide service, they're not going to close on time. I'll be honest, they're not that same level of professionalism necessarily as a retail loan officer. These are things I said, they're not things I believe today. And so when we got on a call with Mike, we weren't recruited to NEXA. It was actually the owner of our company who said, if because we were going to send my husband to the broker world, I was going to stay on the retail channel, and we were just going to have the best of both worlds. And so as we had that conversation, one of the things for me with NEXA was two parts. Number one, overcoming preconceived notions. I don't know if there's retail people in this room who had a lot of fear of losing control, and one of the things that I've learned is the person who can solve the most problem win. And being at NEXA has enabled us to do that. We have more products and we have more options and we can help more families. And that in and of itself is a huge blessing. And then the other part for me is our background. I'm a coach. I do fiscal literacy courses for our clients. I partner with divorce attorneys and financial advisors. And so really being able to be a high-level consultant to those who are looking for solutions for things as it relates to mortgage is how we built our brand. So when people think of us, they think of strategic mortgage planning. People typically come in and meet with us 6 months to a year before they go into their home purchase or whatever it is they're looking to do. And we help them with tax planning, we help them with mortgage planning, and that really has allowed us to separate ourselves.
Fantastic. Yes.
Gosh, I don't even know how to explain. I don't know anything about the broker world. Obviously, I've only done this 5 years, so I don't have those years of retail experience. My muscle memory is brokering. And if anything, I think when I think about retail, I get uncomfortable. I'm like, no. But what I love is I can be whoever I want to be. And I can structure my business, my team, my day, my life, however I want to. My team is built entirely of my family, much like yours. So my processor / LOA is my daughter. I have my other 2 sons are on the team as well. And we can be whatever we want to be. We have the products, but more importantly, we have the privacy and the freedom. And that's huge. Each one of you, whether you've done this for 25 years or done it for 2 months, you're all going to figure out who you are, and you're going to be your best self and do your best self taking care of your borrowers and their families if you're whoever you're supposed to be. And the fact that we have that freedom and we don't have the micromanagement, but we do have the safety net, I think that's just so incredibly valuable. I am so personally grateful for that. I can't imagine my days without it being as symbiotic as it is with my family. So thank you, Mike. In terms of where I get business from, sorry, got sidetracked. If you've called me, chances are something's really wrong. Nobody calls me because things are awesome. No one calls and says, I've had the best day, let's spend some money. So I was reared serving the underserved. If you've had a bankruptcy, if your credit is god-awful, if you make $1 jillion a year but your taxes say you make -12, I'm your girl. And I love that I can do that every day. I partner with divorce attorneys, as you have said. I do a lot with bankruptcy attorneys. I have a couple influencers on TikTok that I kind of partner with. I have a couple lead providers, but I also just organically kind of post about my life, and that tends to resonate with people. I don't have to be anybody other than me, and I'm not going to sell you because I hate being sold. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to give you options. I'm going to be honest with you all the time. And if that works, I would love to work with you. And if I'm not the right fit, that's okay, because you'll come back.
So Michelle, you touched a little bit on how you're using social media. Tara, how are you using it and engaging in that way?
Not enough. I was really good with social media until 2020 hit and everything became very political. And just, I don't know about you guys, but just with all the negativity, it's really easy to just almost have an aversion to what's going on. But one of the things that I realized, I posted, and it's not short, I posted that story on my birthday on Monday about turning 47. There's no pictures, it's not sexy, it's just real. And I had 52 people comment, I've had a bunch of people call me. And the reality is, I think with social media, people want to feel an authentic response. They want to feel a connection. They want to read something that inspires them, that feels real. And so for me with social media, it did 2 things. It reminded me of the importance of sharing information, but it also reminded me that it isn't just the hiring the company that blasts a bunch of stuff out that isn't a representation of you. So being an influencer, building relationships is really about finding your own voice, not using somebody else's voice, and sharing information that resonates with other people. And in this industry, that's so important because we're going to attract people to ourselves that are like-minded, that are going to work. We want to work with people we know, like, and trust. And when people post things that make us feel like we can relate to them or they're real people, it makes us want to reach out, and it's more than just followers.
I know, I was looking at Michelle's Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I just want to get to know her more. I see babies on there and all this family stuff, and yeah. it's
Babies and bakeries.
What was that?
Babies and bakeries.
Yeah, babies and bakeries. It sells that and puppies, right? Right. So I want to ask you guys something, because I touched on it at the beginning, which was, you know, coming into this channel and kind of the bro-y world and not feeling like I fit in. You know, it was, took a while for me to build my confidence up, and maybe you could share what is in your confidence toolkit. You know, what have you done to help with the confidence factor in terms of you and promoting your business and winning?
I think for me, coming to the broker world after 20 years in the industry was super humbling. So there's something about familiarity and relationships and knowing your craft. And where I was, it was one system. I had an underwriter, a doctor, a funder, and you know, when I came over here, nobody knew me, which was, I don't know about you guys in the room, but if you've come from a place where you feel like you're family and then you show up at NEXA and you walk into a room of strangers, it's kind of scary. So say hello to me if you see me in the hall, because that's one of the things I'm really working on, is just building relationships in our new home as NEXA continues to grow more and more every year. But from a confidence standpoint, I think it's really leaning on my past experiences. I think when we overcome and we persevere and we are able to achieve things we didn't think we could achieve, it's calming. And when we find those moments where we're feeling fearful or we need to lean into our confidence, for whatever reason, I go back to those past experiences where I didn't think I could do something, and I figured it out, and I lean into that moment.
Thank you.
Gosh. Again, I don't have the 20 years, so my confidence and the leg is still growing and evolving, and hopefully will continue to. But I feel like maybe the whole trial by fire, that I've developed a very good, very diverse skill set, and even on the really bad days, and there are abundant ones, I feel like my skill level gives me the confidence to get through what I have to, because I know I'm on a platform or I'm in a situation where I can pivot, I can rethink something, I can resubmit something, I can restructure something. So there's always going to be a way to get through. There's always an answer. I also feel like, again, I'm fortunate enough to have a team where my life's pretty symbiotic. Who in the world am I going to trust more, or where, you know, more confidence in than my family? So if I'm having a bad day and I'm kind of failing at what I'm doing, or I'm having trouble kind of reining it back in, and yesterday was that day, by the way, I know that one of them is going to kind of step in and say, okay, let's take a step back. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And knowing that even if I'm having a hard time, there's a safety net gives me incredible confidence. I'm very lucky.
So one last question for you. For the newbies from, you know, NEXA Academy, just starting out, you know, give, what is the best piece of advice you could give to someone just starting their journey as a loan officer here at NEXA?
There's no stupid questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. The people who don't answer you kindly when you ask what you think is the stupid question, they're not your people. Just excuse yourself. Find the people that are your people. Build that support group and reach out. I get calls and texts and messages all day long, and I consider it to be an honor that they would think that I would have the answer for them. And I'm going to answer kindly. So hopefully you'll find those people, including me, including you, that can provide that for you. Don't say no to any loans. I know a lot of people say, I only want this or I only want that, but everything you touch, you learn something from. So take the loan that you think isn't a great loan, or take the loan that you think is too hard, or take the genre that you don't know. Because all of a sudden, a year from now, you'll realize you know it, and you're comfortable in it, and you can utilize that. And it'll help you grow exponentially.
That's great advice. Like, even if it doesn't work out, right? You've learned something through that, and you've tried to help someone. So, and what about you, Tara?
I think the biggest thing for me is building a great team. So I am keenly aware that the whole loan process is not something I'm really, really good at. I'm really, really good at one part of it. And so what I've been able to do is build a team that's really good at the parts of the job that I'm not good at, so that we can really deliver an exceptional experience to the clients and referral partners that we work with. And then I think one of the things that is overwhelming as you're getting started is you're supposed to be everything, right? You're supposed to be the social media person, and you're supposed to be the person that answers your phone and responds to your email and solves problems and prospects and goes to open houses. And it's exhausting. And although it's required for us to do that in the beginning, be good stewards of your marketing dollars. Understand the value of hiring somebody and getting help. If you can't afford it yourself, have a shared resource. And then find people that do business the way you do business. One of my keys to success is hiring great people, but more importantly, retaining them. My processor has been with me a decade. My admin, we call her Team Mom. She literally manages my life. She's been with me 9 years. And my team captain, I replaced her as a manager at Washington Mutual 20 plus years ago. And she came to work with me 5 years ago. And she is very detail-oriented, exceptional at what she does, and great at all the things I'm terrible at. And so it makes my life so much easier. So when you can just find the part of the job you're great at and really focus the majority of your time and attention on that, the opportunities will follow.
Great. Thank you so much, ladies. Let's hear it for her. They're such an inspiration. Tara, Michelle, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you for sharing your stories with us today.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. I get the pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Giselle Ugarte, renowned performance coach, top motivational speaker. She helps build confidence, impact, and visibility online and off. So 15 years doing the media, marketing, and entrepreneurship. She's coached thousands of executives, realtors, business owners to use video as one of the powerful tools that probably most of us don't do a great job with. So here's a couple things as I started looking around. So recognized by TikTok as one of the top 100 women to follow. I started thinking about how many people are on TikTok? There's got to be a lot, I think. To get in the top 100, I don't know. It seems like it'd be hard to get in the top 100,000. So that's pretty, so then I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I looked at total followers. And so then I checked mine. I think I have like 12. And she has 500,000 followers. Like, I'm thinking you might be able to change the weather with that. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Giselle Ugarte.
Hi guys, can you hear me? Okay, show of hands, who has no idea who I am? Don't be shy. Oh, yes. New friends, new opportunities, new reasons to remind me why I love to do what I do, and also inspiration for how I can be and do better. That's what it's all about. And we're gonna become fast friends because right before I got on stage, these ladies were talking about some of those catalyst moments, some of those breakthroughs, turning points in your life that made you who you are. Well, I'm gonna tell you about the time that I got dumped at the Olive Garden. Yes, you did hear me correctly. I got broken up with at the Olive Garden, and it legitimately changed my life. And don't worry, it was not any recent time. It was over 10 years ago. Okay, success that is revenge was good to me, so we're okay. But really, truly, so I was in my early 20s. I was with my boyfriend, and we were in this tiny little town called Victorville. Anyone know where that is? It's a little tiny middle of nowhere town between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. We were making that drive. And there aren't a lot of restaurants in Victorville, but they do have an Olive Garden, and I was so very excited, okay? When you're here, your family, unlimited soup, salad, breadsticks, you know what I'm talking about? So and by the way, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, you know it's a fancy place when there are pictures on the menu. That's the Olive Garden. So we walk in, and I'm sitting across from my honey. I'm so excited. I'm doing my happy, hungry dance. And the server comes over, she drops off those breadsticks, and she asks if we're ready to order. And honestly, friends, I did not know if I wanted the chicken fettuccine Alfredo or the full tour of Italy. I got some laughs, so I know, you know what I'm talking about. The full tour of Italy, it comes with the lasagna, the chicken parmesan, and the fettuccine Alfredo. And I just didn't know if I was that hungry. So I asked for my raspberry lemonade, and I was like, you know what, I just need a few more minutes. And she was like, babe, it's okay, I'll be right back. But then, I know, this is my people, I can tell. But then what happened is I looked over at my boyfriend at the time, and he gave me the look. The look I knew really well that I had done something wrong. In fact, that I was in trouble. And I kid you not, friends, when I tell you that this grown-ass man stood up, slammed his hands on the table, threw the breadsticks across the room, and said, I'm done with you. And stormed out. And I wish I could tell you that this was like some kind of a joke between us. I wish I could tell you that that was the first time that that happened, or even the last time that that happened. I wish I could tell you that that level of immaturity turned me off and I stormed out and never saw him again. But it wasn't, and I didn't. And instead, what ended up happening was I did what I always did in that situation, which was I cleaned up his mess. I lied to the server and said he wasn't feeling well and ordered for us, and I paid for the meal with money that I didn't have, just like I always did. And when I walked out to the parking lot, because he was waiting and I knew he would be, I apologized to him. I apologized to him for what I had done. I apologized to him for everything that I was, like I always did. Because he was someone who on an everyday basis would remind me that I wasn't good enough, that I'd never be good enough, especially without him. And I share that with you, friends, because in that moment, as I was going to the other side of the car, to my side, that was the first time in months and months and months that I finally realized, this isn't okay. I'm not supposed to be here. My dad raised me way better than this. Well, hold on. Because here's the thing, friends. I share this story with you because maybe you have never been in an abusive relationship like I was, or a dysfunctional one, but maybe you woke up today and you looked around at your life and you didn't recognize where you were or who you've become. Whether it is because of the state of the market, or it is because here's the thing, I didn't sign up for that relationship. When we started dating, he was my best friend. But have y'all ever heard the parable of the boiling frog? Okay, so in case you haven't, this is how it goes. So if you take a frog and you put it in boiling water, it'll jump out. But if you take a frog and you put it in lukewarm water, and then slowly you turn it up degree by degree by degree by degree by degree by degree by degree, the frog won't notice until it's too late. Now, I've recently found out that's actually not true, which is why it's a parable. But you get what I'm saying here, right? When you get into circumstances that you don't want, or that you definitely didn't sign up for, or that make you question which way is up or which way is down, it's not because you willfully, consensually got yourself into that situation. It's because you gave someone an inch. Sometimes they take a mile right away, but sometimes it's daily, inch by inch by inch by inch, that you abandon yourself and your standards, and they continue to take advantage and take advantage and take advantage and take advantage. And that's also something that I want you to understand about confidence. It's not something that you're born with, friends. It's not something that you wake up one day and you have it and then it's there forever. No, it's something that you have to work on every single day. But when, for example, you go through your day and maybe you don't set out your daily goals, or maybe you're purely in reactive mode, right? Like, who's ever gotten one of those days where it's just fire after fire after fire after fire and you haven't stopped moving, but you're like, wait, I feel like I got nothing done today. And then you have that again, and then again, and then again. That's how you lose your confidence. Because confidence is about how you continue to hold commitments to yourself. And it's when you continue to say no to those commitments. It's kind of like, y'all ever been so busy that you become that friend that your friend will be like, hey, do you want to have dinner? And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm working. Hey, do you want to come to the basketball game? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm working. Oh, hey, do you want to come to this play with us? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm working. And then eventually they just stop asking because you're always working. Confidence is the exact same way. It's your heart, it's your spirit knocking on your door saying, hey, are you going to make that video today? Yep, totally, absolutely, I'll be there. Actually, no, I am too busy. Hey, are you going to make that phone call today? Absolutely, I'm totally going to make all of my calls today. Actually, nope, something happened, it got in the way. Or maybe it's your kids. Hey, are you going to come to my game? Absolutely, and yet you continue to say no. You continue to tell yourself that you're going to make those commitments, and every single time that you say no, you're slowly abandoning yourself. But here's also the beautiful thing about confidence, and also the beautiful thing about those catalyst turning point moments that we just so heard beautiful stories right here on this stage, is that when you hit that moment, maybe it's a rock bottom or hopefully it's not, but by the grace of God, you hear that whisper that tells you, this isn't normal. You're not supposed to be here. You deserve so much better. This becomes that moment where little by little by little, it's not huge wins. It's not, okay, I go to this conference, I'm going to turn my life around. It's what are the small, meaningful decisions and habits I can adopt? Who are the new friends that I can make? Who are the accountability partners that I can take home with me? What are the pictures that I can take? What is the video that I can shoot? So that little by little by little by little, you have a moment where you look back 6 months from now so proud of what you did, and that's what happened to me. Because I didn't in that moment decide I'm gonna break up with him. I wanted to, I knew it was wrong, but I had to do some things first logistically to make sure that I would be safe, to be honest with you. But oh friends, when I tell you that day that came, and when I tell you I was done, I was so done. And it brought me so much joy to be able to finally say right back to him, oh no, 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 I'm done with you. Don't ever speak to me again. It was on the phone. I had an iPhone at the time. It was my first iPhone. I so wish I had the pleasure of being able to slam the, right? Like, that's the one thing that the future kids will never have. But that's the other thing that I want you to understand, friends, when it comes to confidence. Can I nerd out with you for a second? I nerd out about communication. So the word confidence, that first prefix, con, who knows what that word means, the prefix? Anyone know? With or together. With or together. Fid, who knows what that one means? Faith. So where so many of you are afraid of the word confidence, you confuse it with arrogance. Confidence means with or together. You're doing it for something bigger or someone more than you. Whether it's you and the person who you used to be, you and the person who you want to become, or you and your team, you and your family, you, and take a look around the room, friends. This is also your family. With or together, it's bigger than just you. And also, with or together means that you can't have confidence without connection. But the problem is, and especially in this industry, you don't want to have confidence without perfection. You don't want to make the video unless you look awesome. You don't want to call up your clients unless the market is great, which, really? When was the last time that was the case? Because what's happened is we're waiting for this irrational state of quote unquote ready that's never gonna come. And if anything, friends, y'all know those fair weather friends who they only show up when things are good? That's not you. That can't be you. where the market doesn't look like what it wants to look like, or the interest rates don't look like how you want it to look, so then you hide and you make the excuse that, oh, well, no one wants to talk to me, or oh, I'm the bad guy. Are you? Because really, it's the person who shows up when things are hard, it's the you who shows up for you when things are hard, that defines who you really are, friends. It's in these moments, it was in that parking lot where I got to really decide who I was. And it's gonna be in this market, friends, that you get to decide who you are, yes or yes? Yes or yes? Yes or yes, friends? And that's the other reason why I want to talk to you about this story, is because I feel like you hear words like personal brand or social media or video, and you just get overwhelmed with a capital H, right? And something I really want you to take home today is recognizing that a personal brand, it's not about whether you're on social media, it's not about if you have a logo or a color, it's just about who you are stepping into who you want to be. Ever heard the phrase, dress for the job you want? Same thing. For me, one of the things that happened right after I left that parking lot was I started putting videos on this tiny little platform called YouTube. Anybody heard of it? I put videos up on this tiny little platform called YouTube, and I say tiny because at the time I had to tell people what it was. I had this thing called a blog, and I had to tell people how to pronounce B-L-O-G. And I put videos up on this platform thinking that nobody would see them. I just wanted to get more comfortable in front of the camera because I was an aspiring TV host. And one of the things that I did when I went home was on my Instagram and on my YouTube, which I created that night, was I changed something in the bio, which was that I put TV host. Now, had anybody hired me or paid me to be a TV host at the time? No. However, I was making videos, and I was putting them on the internet, and I was talking in front of the camera, so I was TV hosting. And something changed, friends. It sounds crazy, but it is science. When I put in my bio that I was a TV host, not an aspiring TV host, not I wish to be one, when I started stepping into it as if it was already there, I started walking differently. I started asking for things that I wanted differently. I started stepping into auditions differently. Not to mention, I also learned about this feature called copy and paste. Because at the time, and again, I'm dating myself here, but I feel like y'all are my people, so you understand. At the time, when I was this aspiring TV host, the way to get into an audition room or a casting director's office or an agent's office without sleeping with them, which I didn't want to do, was you had to send them your portfolio. What did that mean? That meant that you had to print out your headshots. That meant you had to print out your resume. You had to print out your clips. I had to send them a DVD of my reel, which was basically made on my own camera because, again, remember, no one had hired me. But wait a minute, now all of a sudden, I can put these videos up on this platform called YouTube, and for free. I can make whatever video I want. I can film it whenever I want. I can upload it whenever I want. I don't have to go to a production studio. I don't need a video team. I can make that video. I can customize that video. I can copy and paste it and email it directly to the casting director or to the publicist, and it costs me $0 instead of $25. Friends, free $99 versus $25. What's crazy is that 15 plus years later, that still rings true. Where you think you need the production team, the fancy video equipment, the microphone, the social media manager, the intern, when in actuality, you have this tool called copy and paste. You have this, does anybody have one of these? Put it up in the air, wave it like you care. I don't want you to break it. If you have one of these, you have no excuse to start putting your face to your name. And that's the other thing that I want you to understand, friends, is that a personal brand, by the way, it's not just about how many people know you. Okay, that's one of my least favorite excuses of all time. Well, I don't have enough followers. Even right before we got on stage, you have 12 followers? Hey, Jesus had 12 followers. He did okay. I'm just saying. I was just saying. But again, we think it's all about the followers. We think it's all about who knows me, 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 me. A little bit. The secret to a personal brand is who actually believes that you know them. That you know them. Because if you're using big words, or if all you talk about is work, or if you're not showing up at all, how am I going to know that? How am I going to know you? How am I going to know that I would trust you? Because let's think about, guys, let's bring this back down to earth for a second, for what it is that you do. In many cases, you are helping people with the biggest investment of their lives, or the most important investment of their lives, or a new chapter. You're helping them in their catalyst moment. Because that's the thing too, friends. The last and most important reason that I share this story with you is because in that particular moment when I had to totally rebuild and create my life, I was not wondering interest rates and what's the state of the market. I was just thinking timeline, budget, and I want to go home. And when that's your excuse, if you're that person who you're constantly blaming everything on the market, you're forgetting why you're doing this in the first place. It's about the people. It's about the humans in your life. The ones who, again, maybe they're making an investment that they're really excited about, and also maybe they're going through a really difficult transition. Maybe they're moving to a brand new place. Maybe they have purchased home after home after home, but they've never purchased one where you live. Maybe they are extremely smart and intelligent, but here's the thing, they don't know how the market works, otherwise they'd be doing what you do for a living. And so even though to you, you might think that your job is boring, well, to them it is boring, because otherwise they would be doing it, and they want to work with someone who you're excited to talk about it. You make them feel good when you talk about it. And again, you're not just knocking on their door or calling them up or checking on them when they wanted to refinance, although great. You're asking, how are you doing? What's going on in your world right now? How are your kids doing? Because even in those moments, when I had someone reaching out to me, and it's not lost on me that that first place that I lived was a rental, okay? So you weren't exactly part of my world yet. However, pretty awesome when a friend of my mom checked on me to say, oh, you're doing really, really well. Where are you living out in California? Oh, how much is rent over there? Oh my gosh, well, now you're doing pretty well. Have you ever thought about renting to buy? Because you're renting a condo from that person. I had no idea what that even was. But the reason why the conversation started was because she was interested in my life. She was giving me a reason to believe that she cared. And so, friends, what I want you to take from today is also recognizing that, this morning was filled with a lot of conversation about AI. The ones who are going to win are not the ones who are using AI to replace humans. They're using AI to replace the work. Thank you. Appreciate that. Party of one. That's fine. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need. Let me say that again. They're not using AI to replace humans. They're using it to replace the work. Can you hear the difference in that state? Thank you. I didn't need the validation. I just wanted to make sure that you took it home, but again, my table over here. So what I mean by that is even for you, how are you making yourself irreplaceable? Are you as a human bringing value, or are you simply bringing what it is that you do? For your people, are you providing value and care and service, or is it purely transaction? Your humans who you serve. Because here's the other thing, friends. It's typically if you're having the worst year ever, but also when you're having the best year ever, that you accidentally dehumanize humans, and instead of people, they become numbers, dollars, and excuses. Let that sink in. Are you really treating the people who are watching your content, The phone numbers, the emails, the people on the other side, are you really treating them like humans? Or did you get a little lost there for a second? Because I so loved how on the panel before this, you hear these women talking about those hard moments, and what did they do? They weren't focused on the number or the goal. They were focused on survival and who they could help. So I want you to think about it. Who could you help? But also, what is the life that you need to move on from? And how can we make it so that when we use AI and automations, it's actually bringing us closer to our people and not further away? Because it's kind of crazy how, yes, it appears that, for example, I get my groceries delivered. I have not been in a grocery store and I can't remember how long, or a Target for that matter, but we're starting to slowly but surely lose some of that human interaction that is not only good for our business, but it's good for our souls. And so today, I want to rehumanize you so that you can start planting those seeds and make this year stronger, but also start planting those seeds to get the beginning of next year better and brighter. How does that sound? Yes or yes? Anybody feel like they kind of needed that reminder in that moment of what they were capable of? Thank you for the honesty in the back. And then really quick, I will also answer the question because it's always asked, oh my gosh, Giselle, so what happened to him? So it's just, I know you were wondering, I'm just gonna go ahead and answer it. So what happened? Never went back, blocked him on everything, blocked him on Facebook, blocked him on Instagram. TikTok was not around at the time. And I don't know if you know this, but the reason why TikTok and now LinkedIn and Instagram are pretty awesome these days is that your content will be shown to people who have no idea who you are, who do not follow you, but it's simply suggested content. And so pretty crazy when 10 years later, even though I had blocked him, he still had my number in his phone. One of my TikTok videos was suggested to him. And he sent me the DM that I will never forget that said, I always knew you would make it. LOL, block. All right, friends. So here's what I want you to think about. I want this to be coachable. I want this to be something that is tactical and that you can take this away. So I really want you to think about, all right, we're in Q4, although I tell all of my clients that you have 8 weeks left, not 12, because this is typically the season where you start to mail it in, you get tired, or something happens that is inexplicable, unexpected, unexplainable, and so let's just act like you have 8 weeks and fight for your life. I want you to think about who is one person, one group of people, who if you really went all in on that relationship, that could change your business. Is that your real estate agent partners? Is that your direct-to-client work? Is it a specific group of humans? Is it perhaps a group that you've abandoned? Is it expanding your team? Is it creating that content? But most importantly, I want you to know who we're talking about here. And this is a framework where you're going to want to take notes, so please pull out your notes. You're going to regret not taking the notes. Okay? You came here to learn, or maybe you came here to party. You looked like you had a really good time last night. But I'm pretty sure if you're still here, you came here to learn and you came here to be and do better. Yes or yes? So this is a framework that you can repeat with any audience, whether you're walking into a room or you're creating content. So if you're like, Giselle, I don't make TikToks, to be honest, I haven't made a TikTok in a while either. It's like a new shopping network that I was not used to 5 years ago. So Instagram and LinkedIn is where I play. But you can use this framework whether you are in person on the phone or also if you're on Instagram creating content. But what I really want to remind you again is who is that what on the other side? Human. I knew extra credit over here. The teacher's pets. I got it. Okay. So step number 1. H stands for heartbeats and hangups. In any transaction, there's always more than one person involved, even if you are directly working with one particular person. And there are always heartbeats. Even if, for example, you were working with investors and builders who are all about data and numbers, believe it or not, they have hearts too. They might have people who they're having to report to make sure that they are getting the best possible rate or that they are making the best possible investment. But if you don't totally know who's in the equation, it's going to be really difficult for you to be able to sell or to connect, let alone close. And so, for example, even if you're trying to recruit a team member to your team, you want to be thinking about what is the life that this person wants. I really loved, y'all remember, because it was so catchy, the babies and the bakery reference, when they were talking about personal brand up here. So if, for example, you know that family is really important, that their children are really important, they're part of the decision-making process, you need to know about it. If you know, for example, that their parents are being thrown into the situation, you need to know about it. Or if, for example, something horrible happened, they're going through a divorce, maybe their spouse passed away, maybe they're having to deal with a property that belonged to a parent that is no longer with us, or they're dealing with money or a trust that they were given to be able to purchase this home. You want to know who is everybody involved so that, again, you can offer more compassion and care into that conversation. You want to know, is this truly, really just you, or is there somebody else in this situation who can help? Who matters most to you, and what are we thinking about long term, not just short term, so that, for example, you're not just having a one-time conversation, you can start thinking also strategically about the future, about who else you need to know, who else you need to be introduced to, how you can turn this into a referral and a repeat situation. Yes or yes? You also want to be thinking about what are their hang-ups. Because, friends, I'll be honest with you. In a lot of situations, yes, it is possible that the state of the market is what's keeping someone from moving forward. But in actuality, it has less to do with actually the state of the market and more to do with the fear and the fear-mongering of the headlines and the overwhelm, again with a capital H, that they feel like they don't understand what's going on. So is the hang-up actually the budget? Is the hang-up actually the interest rate? Or is it that they just don't totally understand long-term how this is going to go? And how can you make sure that you're making it understandable of your terms on their terms? What do I mean by that? You get into rooms like these and you use all kinds of big words. But in actuality, remember, you're the professional, they are the amateur. And even if, for example, they got a house 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, things look different now. Limiting beliefs that they had for why they couldn't, things are different now. Timelines are different now. One of the jokes that I use, because I work with a lot of what I call real estate agents and real estate adjacent, is how when I bought my first condo, I was looking at the time in Minneapolis. I live in Austin, Texas now. Who's in Texas? Yay. And Skolvikes, yay. So when I bought my first condo, it was in Minneapolis. And even though at the time I was working with tons and tons and tons of real estate agents and pretty much every single day, what was so funny is how I was hearing them talk about on social media, and I was hearing some of the headlines talk about how there was no inventory. Who's ever heard that phrase, no inventory? Okay, so I might not be like the brightest light bulb in the tanning bed. However, I hate to admit this, when I thought they were talking about no inventory, I was like, well, that's great because I want a condo I'm not building. I thought inventory was referring to building supplies. So I thought I was going to have a really easy time, which actually I was. Because even though there was no inventory for single-family homes, I wanted to live downtown Minneapolis in 2021, which in case if you watch the news, it wasn't people didn't necessarily want to go there. But I did, because I'm a Minnesota girl. I wanted to live downtown. And so I had actually the pick of the litter. So what I think is really important for you to understand is that even though you too are real estate adjacent, you can help people to understand what these big words actually mean. Put it into terms that they would actually understand. Even things like buyer, seller. Buyer, seller of what? Clothes? Wine? I don't know. Again, how are we dehumanizing things by accident? We're taking the humans out of it. So humans who want to buy a home, people who want to buy a home, if you are wanting to move to Minneapolis, what does no inventory actually mean? Does this interest rate actually affect you? Everyone's telling you not to buy, here's exactly why you should. Everyone's telling you not to buy, here's exactly actually why you shouldn't. And that's one of my favorite things too is when, for example, you hear honesty from you and in the cities that you represent or the states that you represent. And you might actually say, you know what, I'll be honest, if I'm really looking at the numbers of what your deposit would be and what your payment would be, it probably doesn't make sense. Or, oh, you found a better rate somewhere else? Well, okay, you go right ahead. Here's what that would actually look like. Here, help me understand, but also here's how I can continue to bring value to you. Write this down, friends. Value can come in the form of a lesson. Value can come in the form of a laugh. Value can come in the form of just helping someone feel less alone in a process that feels really overwhelming, yes or yes? So I want you to even pay attention to what you're sending out. Especially, I didn't want to get political here, but nobody cares about your monthly market update. Nobody cares if it's in terms that I don't understand. It's one thing, and I'm not saying, by the way, because this is usually where people tune out and they go, what do you mean? I love my monthly market update that I just copy and paste from this agency that sends the exact same one to every single person on their list, and I continue to subscribe. What I mean is, it's one thing, and I have clients who do market updates, but here's why they do it well. It's one thing if you are filming a monthly market update, and it's to a whole bunch of loan officers who understand loan officer language. But here's how the ones who do it better. When you break it down into terms that I actually understand, and when you know the human who is on the other side of that equation. Even if, for example, your audience is real estate agents, God bless, but there are some real estate agents out there who are just not that smart. God bless them. Great at their jobs, but there's a reason why they don't do what you do. So you too need to break it down into terms that they would understand, watch this, and help them break it down into terms that their clients would understand. That's how you take yourself from good to great. You give them the information that is helpful before they ask for it. Because especially in a time of urgency where what you do, it's a lot of hurry up and wait, you know what I mean? Like everything's on fire and then it's on fire. Well, when you have those moments, use it to create value. How are you bringing value? How are you bringing people together? And how are you giving people more reasons to come to you? Yes or yes? Keep on pushing the wrong button here. Fat fingers. All right, M stands for meaning of money. Meaning of money. This is where you can get a little overwhelmed yourself and get into your fancy calculators and just throw over pamphlets or downloads or plug and play pieces to your client. But again, you need to understand what really is the meaning of money for them. Are they actually in a rush? Are they actually in transition? Can they really afford to wait? Because that's the thing too, friends. You know when they can and when they can't. And I want to remind you again, the meaning of money in some of my situations where I've been in transition, I just want everything to be as clean as possible. I don't need multiple offers. I don't need the fight. I just want it to be as clean and quick as possible because your girl is busy. I want to move on. I want to do my thing. And so in that sense, I want to know, can you do your job? And also, I want to know that you're going to help me do mine. Because one of the loan officers that I worked with early on kind of didn't tell me that, hey, Giselle, if we're going to buy a house, maybe don't buy a car. Also, what for them is the meaning of money, and how are you breaking money into terms that they would understand? This is also important for those of you who are making content. Because if, for example, you're giving examples of deposits or purchases, whether it's an investment home or a first-time home, those are two very different people, right? How money is to a first-time home buyer is probably going to be really, 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 really different from someone who maybe they're buying a second home or a vacation home or a rental somewhere else. And so for you, you really need to understand for them, are they looking for something short-term Are they really thinking of this long term? But again, how do you go from good to great? Help them understand it before they even ask. Or ask those types of questions. Because again, you get to be part of the process. You get to be part of what could be one of the biggest, most important investments they ever make in their lives. And here's the thing too, friends. If you do your job right, it's possible that you might not work with them again for another 5, 10, maybe even 15 years. So how do you make yourself relevant to them in between all of that time without purely asking about things having to do directly with money? Understand, though, what money means so that when you're following up, whether it's 6 months or a year or 5 or 10, it's not purely out of greed. It's asking them how they're doing. It's asking them if they're able to make those payments. Is it easy? Is it hard? What's next on the list? You crossed off house. What's going to be your next big buy? Because no, you might not be helping them buy a car, but maybe you could introduce them to somebody who could. Or you could just simply say, I'm so proud of you because I remember you talking about this dream to be able to sell your condo and then go live on the ranch property with your husband that you always wanted. I'm so happy for you. That's not just the real estate agent's job, friends. That's yours too. If you want to be relevant years after the transaction. Who wants to be relevant years after the transaction? Yes or yes? Is it you? Yes or yes? Is it you? Next piece. Attachments and associations. Not just who is important to your client, but what. What is important to them? Because you are doing a disservice to you and your team and your clients if all you talk about, post about, call about is work. What are you interested in? In fact, dare I ask, what do you do for fun? Think about that. I remember one time I was listening to a speaker at a conference ask that question, and I was like, work? What do you do for fun? What do you do for fun in a way that actually introduces you to new people, doesn't involve alcohol, and allows for you to create and build relationships beyond just work? Because if, for example, you're only reaching out to your work sphere that you've had for the last 5 or 10 years, it's no wonder you feel like you're banging your head against the wall. We got to get you out of your house. COVID made us stupid. We got to go. It's true. I can't tell you how many CEO clients I have, friends, CEO clients who I have to reteach to introduce themselves to new people in new situations where they're not known. COVID made us stupid. And so how are you practicing your social skills so that you can talk about more than just work, so that you can have a creative flex, so that you can build confidence and have goals that aren't just dollars? Whether it is painting or walking, or some people run for fun, which is crazy, but they do it. I moved to Texas, I started shooting. You know, it's the Texas thing to do. Maybe it's shopping. Maybe it's a sports team. Who loves fantasy football? No one? Oh gosh, really no fun here. I'm a college football girl. I went to USC, so I'm a fight on girl. But again, how can I also, though, from meeting you and following you, how do I know what you're interested in? Because remember, at the beginning of this conversation, I said it is not about how many people know you. It's about how many people believe you know who? Them. So if, for example, I see on your Instagram that you too love to go to the bakery that I love to go to, that you too love to go to the golf club that I love to go to, I don't play golf, that you too also cheer on the same team that I do, or worse, their rival, that shows me, oh, that person gets me. Oh, they have kids too. Oh, they have wrinkles too. How are you showing the attachments and the associations that give you credibility? If, for example, I go to your profile and it is only your face, then I'm gonna subconsciously ask, do they have any friends? Do they have any friends whatsoever? Like even, for example, a picture of your spouse, I'm like, okay, someone decided that they wanted to spend the rest of their lives with that person, they can't be that bad. But who else are we seeing? Are we seeing your team? Are we seeing your mentors? Are we seeing your coaches? Are we seeing your neighbors? You don't have to post your kids on your social media if you don't want to. That's your prerogative. But if you claim to be a family person, then I just need to know, even if you're not showing your kids, how are you being that family person? Is it by showing you in your coach garb because you coach the Little League? Is it you showing the messy backseat of your car because you have 2 boys and everything's just sticky all the time? How are you showing me that you are someone who, if this is going to be a long road, I would actually enjoy spending time with you? And also that you would enjoy spending time with me, because it goes both ways, that you would understand the chaos in my brain, that you understand how busy I am. But what accidentally happens sometimes is we think that it's all about me, 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 me. And so that if I only call you once and you don't answer, oh, it's probably because she hates me. Versus, no, babe, I'm busy. I am triple screening. I'm chasing after children. Everything is messy. Everything is hard. My email box is full. I need you to keep following up. I need you to keep asking if I'm okay. I need you to ask me what it's like, because I feel like I'm so alone in this. How are we making these people feel less alone in this? And again, I didn't want to get political here today, but I feel like someone needs to hear this. The filters are fucking you up, ladies. Apologies for the F word. I don't use it if it's absolutely necessary. But I've tried so many different variations of that with other words, and it's just not the same. But let me tell you something. Did you know that no filter does not actually exist? Every single camera on Instagram, especially on TikTok, has a built-in filter, either because they designed it for you to hate yourself, or because the camera quality just doesn't quite parallel to the one on your phone. And so then, if you do take that already built-in filter, and then you add a little subtle filter, and then a Paris swipe on top of that, babe, you are now 3 filters deep. That is no longer a person, that is a cartoon. And if, for example, I want to trust you with the biggest investment of my life and you are lying from the jump, babe, I'm not judging you because you're not wearing makeup. I'm not judging you because you put on weight. I'm not judging you because you are old. I'm judging you because you lied. I just want to know who is that person who I'm going to see at that appointment at the end of the day. And if you're like, Giselle, I don't use filters. Okay, must be nice to be a man. But then my question to you is, what filter are you hiding behind? Because maybe it is the studio, or the lighting, or the car, or the designer brand, or whatever it is. Or maybe it's nothing, in which case, boys, that's one of the best things that you probably had, which is that you just had to own it. You just had to wake up looking like that and go to sleep looking like that. And again, how can we learn from that? How can we make it feel as easy as possible for someone to go, that is my person? I woke up with an autoimmune condition about 4 years ago. I gained about 50 pounds in 3 months. I could not recognize myself when I looked in the mirror. And I continued to use filter after filter after filter to try to make my face look skinnier, because I thought, well, maybe eventually it's going to go away. I'm going to lose the weight. And then I never did. And then someone else took a picture of me, and I saw my picture and their picture versus the pictures that I was taking, and I was thinking, well, oh, the camera's horrible. No, I was sick. I didn't realize how sick I had become, both physically but also mentally. And that camera, friends, does not lie. It's one of the greatest accountability partners. And so for you, when you remove that filter, it doesn't feel like it's that deep, but you'd be crazy how 99% of my clients who ditch the filter for 30 days, they don't just say that changed my business, they say that changed my life. So if you take nothing else, friends, let it be that. How can you make it feel as easy as possible? Like, I know exactly who that is. And if you gained weight last year, or you have the baby weight or the COVID weight, which has been like 5 years, guys. It took me 4 years to lose the 50 pounds. But your photo follows you everywhere at this point in time. And so again, take the fat photo, or the skinny photo, or the goatee photo, or the wrinkled photo, or the freckled photo, because again, I just want to know who is on the other side of that email, who is on the other side of that phone call, who is on the other side of that content. Because in a world where there are phishing scams like crazy, I want to know that you're going to be the one who helps to get me home. Yes or yes? Last but not least, the N is the nurturing of the relationship, the nurturing of the relationship. You cannot just cross the finish line with your person and then never speak to them again until you need something, okay? That's what the old folks would call players. That's what Gen Z calls the F-boy. You know what I'm talking about? That's where you just date someone until you close the deal, but then you never speak to them again. We're wanting to create and build and nurture relationships. And so here's a little prompt for you, friends. Write this one down. Here's your homework assignment. As soon as you leave here, I want 5 new connections, 5 meaningful comments, 5 meaningful DMs, and 5 one-to-one videos. What's a one-to-one video? We'll get to it after that. And I want you to take time every single week to new people and ones that you have to nurture, letting them know, I so appreciate you. I'm so inspired by you because. That does a couple of things. Scientifically, gratitude makes us happier. It gives us more confidence. It helps us to build a foundation to step on into our days as we're reminded that we're not alone and that there is joy in life, something that we all should be bringing more to in our work. But also, it creates appreciation for those on the other side. How much would you love to get some unexpected appreciation? How much would you love? I saw some smiles there, so you're like, yeah, I deserve a thank you. I totally do. It's not all about reciprocation, but how can you share even to people in this room? You see someone's video pop up on your feed and you can see that they are struggling, they are brand new, but they are putting themselves out there. When we are talking smack about people who look cringe on our feeds, chances are it's because you're not doing much. So showing appreciation can not only build them up, but might give you the confidence that you needed too. Because you're showing and you're creating the community that you actually want to attract. You're reaching out and you're asking, how are you? And you're being consistent with it. Again, not just when you need something. These are the seeds that we're planting, friends, for the long-term strategy. A lot of you are desperate to make your month or to make your quarter, but we need to be in this for the long-term game, friends. If you do not want AI to replace you, you need to do the work that cannot be replaced by AI. That's not a copy and pasted email. That's not a templated mailer. That is you taking the time to say, hey, Janice, I wanted to let you know I was thinking about you today. And honestly, I'm so inspired by the videos that I keep seeing you put up. Keep doing what you're doing. I see you. Bravo. That took less than 10 seconds. But why is kindness so hard? Why are we doing that to ourselves? And the one-to-one videos, friends, who knows what a one-to-one video is? All right, thank you. A one-to-one video is when you film a video and it is created by one person for another. That's not a video that you're making once and then sending it to 100 people. That's a video that you're making once for one person, it's one of one, and you're telling someone, I appreciate you, I'm grateful for you. Who remembers voicemail? Should be, who's lying? It is a video voicemail, 59 seconds or less, where when our inboxes can be so full and our texts can be overloaded, what a difference it makes when someone says that they're thinking about you, they're grateful for you, happy birthday, happy half birthday. And you can see the warmth in their face. Or maybe you went through something hard. Hey, you know, I know that didn't go as you wanted, but I'm so excited that you've trusted me to work with you, and I promise that when we find that house, it's gonna be even better than this last one. And you can see the genuine care in your eyes. Write that word down, friends, the care. And again, it's one more way to put your face to your name and get you to stand out above everybody else. 99% of the world and your industry is totally okay with being mediocre. It's honestly not that hard when you think about the ways that you set yourself apart, where if you did 5 new connections, meaning followed 5 new people, or 5 meaningful comments, or 5 meaningful DMs, or 5 one-to-one videos of practice that can actually take you less than 10 minutes, but so many of you get up here rather than realizing the confidence that it takes to connect with someone out there. And so that means that we're going to put a face to your name. That also means that I'm not going to have you wait until you get home. We're going to get to work right now. So here's what we're going to do. I heard the cringe already. You're not going to post anything, I promise. Okay? You're not going to post anything. You're not going to tag me in anything unless you want to. But I need you to pull out your phone right now. Just trust me. Can you trust me? Can you just say, I trust you? All right, pull out your phone right now. You're going to open up your camera. You're going to put it in video mode. And you're going to put it in selfie mode. And if you're not participating, then my question to you is, where else in your life are you not participating? I'm just saying. If you're not going to participate in a room filled with people who are cheering you on, then where are you going to do it? So again, open up your phone, put it in camera mode, put it in video mode, put it in selfie mode, no filter. You're going to hit that record button. I know, I always love the, that's what you look like, babe? And you look great. You look great. This is what you look like. So selfie mode, video mode, hit that record button, and repeat after me. Hi. It's been a while. This is what you look like. This is what you sound like. And thank goodness for that. Because nobody looks like you. And nobody sounds like you. And nobody takes care of your people like you do. This is your accountability. This is your promise. This is your day one. You're going to start showing up. You're going to be consistent. You're going to start making the videos. And I'm going to be so proud when I look back on this moment and see how far you've come. I'm so proud of you. No, seriously, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Let's go. Give yourselves a round of applause. Who realized, I know you're like, you did it, you're alive. I told you didn't have to post anything. Some of you trusted me, some of you, it's okay. How many of you realize it's been a while since you've checked in with yourself in that moment? How many of you realize it's maybe been a while since you've told yourself how proud of yourself you are? Maybe it was your first time ever. How many of you had a hard time looking yourself in the eye? Video is the great accountability partner. And I promise it gets easier every time after that, but also when you know who that human is on the other side of the screen. So there's a couple things here as I wrap up. Number one, I talked to Rana, and we want to make sure that you succeed long after this. So if you're one of the people in the room who for you social media is overwhelming, you are not getting on video, you don't love how you look on camera without a filter, I'm going to do a free workshop for you guys next Thursday at noon. And we are going to talk all about how to build a profile step by step that can actually show your face, help you build relationships, and hopefully lead to some more closings. Totally free. It's not putting you into a funnel, just a way that I wanted to give back. The second piece, oh yeah, you can clap. The second one was, I did not actually know that I was going to share that story at the beginning about the Olive Garden. It's a good one, it's a classic, but I have like a couple in my arsenal of what I like to use. But the reason why I shared that story and was just confirmed by the panel before is because 2 nights ago, no lie, I got a message in my DMs from one of you. And she said, hey, you don't know who I am, but I actually saw you on a podcast and you talked about your relationship, and I felt like you were speaking to me. And I decided in that moment that I was going to leave my relationship. And the reality is that I tried and then I failed and I went back. But then I saw that you were speaking at NEXA Fest. I knew that was my sign to leave. And I can't wait, and I'm so excited for the opportunity to be able to tell you in person that I'm actually done. Friends, that's one of you in the room. She said, NEXA changed my life, and now so have you, and I'm so grateful. And I share that with you because where we think that personal brand and video is all about just trying to get more leads and get more numbers and get more dollars, the reality is that building a personal brand is about being accessible to the ones who don't know you yet. You never know who could be on the other side of that screen. You never know who could be on the other side of that video or that podcast or that email, and what something to you might not mean that much, but for them could honestly be something that changes their lives. And that was a podcast, friends. By the way, I almost didn't even go. And I'm not telling you which podcast it was because the host was so rude and he was so late and I almost left. And I think it maybe had like 100 views. And yet that was the one. That was the one that she heard. That was the one that made a difference. That was the one that changed her life. And so, friends, what I hope you realize, if nothing else today, is that a personal brand, it is who you are stepping in to who you want to be, but it's also who you bring with you. It's who you inspire. It's the teams that you grow. It's the families that you build. It is the world that you see. But you can't do that if you're not showing up, if people don't know who you are. And so this, I hope, will inspire you to start showing up. Thank you, friends.
Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Treat yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Feel the rain.
Wow. Giselle, bring it. Thank you. A few quick announcements. Okay, I guess there's problems with the Wi-Fi code on this side. So it says no limits, like it's all in caps. So if you're trying to get into that, the N and the L in no limits are the only capital letters. Everything else is small case. So capital N, little O, capital L, and then little IMITS 2025, okay? Second thing, we start back at 2 o'clock. Please make sure you're back. Mike is gonna be back up here. I think we've heard of Mike. He's got a special announcement to make, and it's a pretty big deal. So we really want everybody to make sure they are back at 2 p.m. Please go visit the expo hall. All of those vendors are our partners. We don't have this, we don't have the service, we don't have the quality to provide to our clients without that group of people that support us. And lunch is downstairs near where we had the Neon 80s party last night. So head down and we will see you back a little less than 2 hours. Thank you, everybody.
Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse. Pull me like a ripcord. Break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, slip. Word upon your lip, lip. Rather that you rip, rip. Break me down and build me up. Whatever it takes.
something that I'm proud of. Out of the box, an epoxy to the world and the vision we've lost. I'm an apostrophe. I'm just a symbol to remind you that there's more to see. I'm just a product of the system of catastrophe, and yet a masterpiece, and yet I'm half diseased. And when I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily, and leave the body of my soul to be a part of me. I'll do what it takes, whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes, 'cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes, you take me to the top, I'm ready for whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do what it takes. My heart is paralyzed, my head was oversized. I'll take the high road like I should. You said it's meant to be, that it's not you, it's me. You're living now for my own good. That's cool, but if my friends ask where you are, I'm gonna say she will